Hi Deer Park, my name is Mercy and I'm going to be doing your fall 2024 show makeup look. It is this pink eye look with some white eyeliner, and hopefully I can answer any questions that you have about this makeup look. Right, so we're going to start off with your base makeup. This includes your foundation, blush, bronzer, highlighter, anything that's been specified by your director. So before we get into foundation, I like to start off with a nice primer that will prime my makeup and make sure that everything stays on. Something that says like ripping or sticky is always a good option when picking out a primer. You just want to apply that all over your face. After you've put on primer, next is to put on foundation. For foundation, you're going to want something that is full to medium coverage, and something that's, you want something that's either a natural finish or a matte finish, just to keep all the oils from washing away your makeup. Because if it has too much dewiness in it, plus sweat, will cause your makeup to really just kind of slide right off, and you really want it to stay, especially if there's going to be excess sweat and oils from performing and exerting yourself. And here I'm just blending it in with a wet beauty sponge. Anything really works though. And you're going to want to make sure you blend it all the way up to your ears and your hairline. Alright, after you've blended out your foundation, next is to go in with concealer if you wish. You can use concealer to cover up any dark spots underneath your eyes, any acne, any redness that you might have, or you can just use it to kind of brighten and highlight your face. So I'm going to add mine, 2 dots underneath my eye, a dot on my forehead, and a dot on my chin. Next step would be to set all of your base makeup with some powder, and this again will help everything stay in place and kind of help you not sweat your makeup off. Alright, at this point you'll probably be looking a little bit like a ghost, so we're going to add some more color back in. Using blush and bronzer. You could also use contour or anything that would kind of bring color or shape back to your face. I'm going to put on a little bit more than I normally would if I was doing everyday makeup. This is just to heighten the appearance of my cheeks and that you can really see if I'm performing, if I'm smiling, if I'm frowning, things like that. You really want to accentuate your facial features a little bit more with show makeup than you would everyday makeup. Alright, so I've done my base makeup now, and then off camera I did my eyebrows. Now, before we get into the eyeshadow look, I'm going to quickly just set my eyelids with some powder. Earlier I put foundation on my eyelids. You could have also done concealer, but that's really just to put a nice base before we put on eyeshadow so that everything stays in place. Alright, for the eye look, you're going to be using your eyeshadow palette. The makeup shades that we will be utilizing are Vacay, Adventure, Tail Feather, Hot Tropic, Lovebirds, and Cockatoo. The makeup brushes that I will be using are this fluffy one. You're just going to want something that's big and fluffy that you can blend with, and then you're going to want something that's probably a little bit smaller, still fluffy so you can blend, but a little bit more compact so that you can put more eyeshadow in and make things a little bit darker. Next, you're going to want something that's a little bit thinner, probably a little bit more sharp, but still very dense. So I'm going to use this one. Alternatively, you could use one that's maybe a little bit more pointed, but I'm going to be using one that's a little bit more rounded. And then I'm going to be using another brush that will be a little bit more flat, something that I can compact a lot of eyeshadows in. Alternatively, you could use one that's maybe a little bit fluffier, but this is all just for packing a lot of eyeshadow in. Okay, so to start off, I'm gonna go in with Vacay right here with my fluffy brush, and I'm gonna go right in my crease and above my crease, and I'm gonna drag it all across my eyelid. Before I get too far and I forget, I'm gonna be using some regular Scotch tape over here at the corner of my eye. So I'm gonna take where the end of my eye is and kind of where the end of my eyebrow is and make a line just so that there's less for me to clean up after. Alternatively, you could use a makeup wipe or makeup remover and a Q-tip. I'm just gonna use the tape because I think that's a little bit easier. I'm gonna go back in with the Vacay and continue kind of making my half circle over my eyelid. Here I'm also bringing it all the way forward, and then I'm bringing it all the way back to where my eyebrow ends. You're gonna want to extend it as far as it can go without extending past your eye. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with my smaller fluffy brush, and I'm going to go into the two purples, both Adventure and Tail Feather, and I'm gonna start working that in the same spot, but I'm gonna keep it on the outer end of my eyebrow. Starting in the middle of the eyelid and pat it outwards, really try and build up that color. And here is where I'm gonna take it down onto my eyelid with these two colors. And I'm still trying to keep it on this outer half of my eyelid. I'm gonna go in with Vacay again and pat that in and try and blend those three together on the outer end of my eye. Alright, once you feel like you have a nice deep color there, I'm going to go in with my flatter brush into the white shade, and I'm going to start in the middle and kind of work my way towards the inner corner of my eye, really trying to pack that in. And I'm going to stop it right at the end of my crease there. So where my eyelid creases is where I'm going to end the white, so I'm not bringing it up into the pink. Next, I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to slowly start adding it to the inner corner and connect that with the white, and really pack the white in so that you can tell that it's nice and light. Alright, I'm going to go back in with my fluffy brush, go over with Vacay again, over my top, and then go back in with the three shades, Vacay, Adventure, and Tail Feather, and then pack that one more time in the outer corner and blend that into the white. Alright, next I'm going to go into the shade Hot Tropic. I'm going to get that on my finger. You could use one of those densely packed brushes. I like using my finger for shimmer shades. I think that they show up better using my finger, but you can use what you would like. And I'm putting that all over the white area. So any place that I put white is where I'm adding Hot Tropic. You're really going to want to pack it in there and go over it a few times just so you really make sure that it shows up. And again, I think that the easiest way to do it is with your fingertip. Alright, next I'm going to go into Lovebirds, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to really keep it on the outside. The shade Lovebirds is more of a glitter than a shimmer shade, so it might be a little bit more difficult so that's when using your fingertip is really gonna help. Alright, then I'm gonna lastly go back in with Hot Tropic and blend that out in the middle, just so I make sure there's not a line and that it's really blended out. Alright, so you should sort of have something similar to this at this point. It is lighter towards the corner, darker towards the outer end, and bringing it all the way up to your eyebrow and then around out, kind of making a point. For this next part, I'm going to be using my concealer and this brush that's a little bit curved, very tightly packed. Alternatively, you could also use the pointy one that I talked about earlier. And I'm going to kind of do a rough outline of the line for the white eyeliner that I'm going to do. The reason why I'm doing it with concealer first is because concealer is a lot easier to clean up if you make a mistake versus eyeliner, which you might have to redo all of the makeup that you just worked on if you accidentally mess up that. I'm using very, very little, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right there at my corner, and I'm basically going to draw a line. I'm going to use a Q-tip and point it out. I'm going to draw a line from the corner all the way up to where my eyelid opens, where that crease is. Starting there, I'm going to draw a circle, and then once I get to about here, I'm going to draw the line outwards so that it follows the shape of the eyeshadow that I've already made. This part's going to take a little bit of practice. You're going to have to figure out for your own eye shape how to make the line work. If you have less eyelid space versus more eyelid space, it's just going to take figuring out with your own eyelid shape, which is why I suggest using concealer whenever you're drawing it out and then going over it with the eyeliner. Alright, so I have kind of like a rough outline of where I want the line to go. I kind of cleaned off my brush a little bit, and now I'm going to try and smooth out that line, make any adjustments that I might need before I go in with my eyeliner. And then I'm also going to make sure that the concealer is not too wet before I go in with my eyeliner, because we don't want the two to necessarily mix or mess with each other. Alright, the next step would be to add your white eyeliner over the line that you made with your concealer. I'm going to use a pencil. You could also use a gel or a liquid. Those might be easier. The only thing is that you're going to have to really make sure that those dry with your eyelid closed and not move it, because opening and closing your eyelid could cause it to smear. But those are way easier to use than a pencil. I'm just going to use a pencil for the sake of the video. And I'm basically just going to go right over where I drew my line and add my white eyeliner. It's okay if your concealer line is a little bit messy, because we're going to go in and clean it up after we're done with the eyeliner. Alright, so I did the white eyeliner. Now I'm going to go back in with any of my brushes just to clean up any areas that I might have made the line too thick or anything like that, and that's another good reason why we're using concealer, so that it's easier for me just to go boop and cover up and make this line a little bit sharper. So right now I'm starting with Vacay over here on the outer end of my eye and slowly bringing that inward just a little bit. Not bringing it too far in, because remember, we're trying to keep it a little bit lighter on the inside. Doing that on the top and bottom of the line. Alright, once I've done my Vacay, I'm then going to tap into Adventure and Tail Feather and kind of do the same thing. Again, remember to keep these on the outer end of your eye, so once you get to the middle of your eye, stop right there and just make sure that the outer end had the purples. Alright, at this point I'm going to take my tape off. Alternatively, you could use your makeup remover or a makeup wipe and just kind of clean up those glitter shades. Definitely like to kind of sprinkle around your face and make sure that you get those off. And you might have kind of like a sharp line here. Don't worry, we're about to blend that out. So I'm going to take my smaller fluffy brush and I'm going to very gently blend out that line so it's not so harsh. Now at this point I might want to add just a little bit of any of the 3 shades to blend it out further, but we're going to take the line from the end, continue blending it out, but add it to the underneath of my eye so that it makes one straight line. Something else that you could also do if you used a pencil liner, or if you have a really wet liquid liner and it's still kind of drying, what you can do is go in with your sharper brush and the white shade and kind of pack it in right over where you put your eyeliner to kind of set it in place there. Lastly, you're just going to want to make sure that it's all the way blended underneath and then out at this corner. So I'm going to take just a clean brush and lightly, not bringing it too far, but just starting there, doing tiny little strokes to make sure that it's blended out, and then it's blended out all underneath and that there's 0 harsh lines. Alright, so off camera I just did my other eye, and what I started to do off camera, but I'm going to show you guys, is I'm going to go back in with my nice compact small brush, and I'm going to get just a little bit of vacay and I'm going to pack it in underneath the line going towards the center. I'm not going to bring it all the way into the corner, but I am going to bring it in some, just so that you can really see the underneath of that line. Going slightly underneath, making it a nice sharp line there. Alright, next step, I'm going to go in with some eyeliner, and I'm literally just going to do my lash line. I'm not going to do any sort of wing. Going just on the lash line, don't want to bring it too far out. Alright, next up I'm going to go in with a little bit of mascara before I do my lashes, and this is just to help my lashes stick on a little bit better. You will then put on your fake lashes. If you need additional help with how to put on fake lashes, YouTube is a great resource. Last step to kind of finish off my makeup look is I'm going to add mascara on my lower lashes, and I find that this kind of helps make the bottom of my eye look pop a little bit more. Alright, next step is to put on your lipstick. Use the one that's specified for you to wear. And then the very last step is to set your makeup. You're going to want something that's heavy holding, that's going to last through all the sweat, all of the tears, all of the sun, and really just keep your makeup on. Alright, Deer Park, this is your final makeup look for your fall 2024 show. I hope you have a great season. Bye!